I've met my friend Rochelle a few years ago at a quilt retreat where I didn't like her all that much.
She didn't like me at all.
It's not true.
And she wants to, you didn't like me at all.
That's just not true.
But she wants to make it not sound bad, to think that you wouldn't like
It's just
someone.
not
And now
true.
you hang out with them. So.
You're listening to Fussy Cutters Club Podcast, a show that gives you permission to cut into the good fabric so you can make quilts you love. And now your host, who believes it's not a crime to love using novelty fabrics, Ange Wilson.
Welcome, Fussy Cutters. Today you are getting a 2-for-1 deal. And it doesn't often happen, but this one is pure bargain. So today I'm sitting down with two new to me people in the terms that I've not known them for years. But as I say that, I think I have known Rochelle for years, but not as podcasters, if that makes sense. Hopefully all will become clear as you listen to it. But today I'm sitting down and talking to the lovely, wonderful, funny, just inspiring, I don't know how to say, contagious. That's the word I was looking for. Contagious. Because it's like being ringside to a discussion between you and your best friend, but you get all the good emotional, what do they call those things? The vibes, the benefits, all of that sort of stuff from witnessing their conversation, but you're not actually participating in the conversation. And that's the style of podcast they run. It's Leslie and Rochelle from Inappropriate Quilters. They have a podcast where they talk about everything to do with life that intersects with quilting and their creative journeys and what's on their mind that week. It is literally a fly on the wall to a discussion between two really good friends, and it's addictive. Like, it's just, the buzz you get from when you have like a really fun time with someone. That's the byproduct of listening to their podcast. Anyway, enough about that. It's a great conversation. Strap yourself in. I hope you love it as much as I do. I hope you add their podcast to your listening schedule. Let's get chatting.
Woohoo!
Oh, hello, ladies.
That was a good mood. Hello.
Hi.
So, for those people that might not be familiar with who you are, Leslie and Rochelle, can you give us a brief introduction of what you do, who you are, how you know each other?
Do you want me to start?
Sure, you start.
You guys are looking at each other like you don't know each other.
We do know each other, but who's going to do what
Who's
part?
going to talk over the other first?
That's right.
So I'm Leslie Bircher.
And I'll let her start so I can start the talk over now.
There you go. And she just did. See? There you go. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well done.
I worked that in there well.
Well done. I'm Leslie Bircher. On Instagram, I'm Leslie Quilts _quilts. Don't spell out underscore because that would be weird. And I've met my friend Rochelle a few years ago at a quilt retreat where I didn't like her all that much.
She didn't like me at all.
It's not true.
And she wants to, you didn't like me at all.
That's just not true.
But she wants to make it not sound bad, to think that you wouldn't like
It's just
someone.
not
And now
true.
you hang out with them. So okay, it's not true. We'll give her that one.
Okay, let's just pretend that I didn't like you at all.
Oh, there we go. No, maybe you like me. You just
Look at us today.
That's true. Oh my God,
There's hope for people who don't like each other.
That's right.
To have like these amazing friendships later. So, anyways,
that's good.
It's not really true.
It's
but
not
anyways,
really. She didn't like me that much.
So
she was a lot.
Does that mean that Rochelle, you Pepe Le Pew'd her and just kind of wore her down? Do you know that the cartoon?
I do
Pepe
know
Le Pew?
that one, and yes, I did.
Because that's how I say I wooed
did.
my husband. I Pepe Le Pew'd
Yeah.
him.
Oh,
Yeah. Very, very good. I pepped you.
I've never heard it termed that way, but
that's
maybe
good.
that's exactly what you did.
I think I did. Yeah.
But anyways, that's me, and I'll let you finish. You can introduce yourself and finish our story out.
And I'm Rochelle Rice, and I'm Donut Warrior, and that's DOUGHNUT. WARRIOR on Instagram. And I own Snake Toe Studios, which everybody in the world thinks is the worst name for it. But, hey, that's what I am. And Leslie and I, like we said, we met, first of all, at a retreat, and then we were in California. And one morning at breakfast, Leslie said, "Hey, Rochelle, we ought to do a podcast." And I said, "Okay." And that's how I had never even listened to a podcast when I said, okay. So,
No.
All right. So there's a lot missing in between. Don't like you. Hey, let's do a podcast. So
Not a lot, actually.
yeah.
So
Believe it or not, not a lot.
We
were in California and we were hanging out that week at this retreat, and we were both kind of funny, and we were hanging out, and I got to know her better. She got to know me.
Yeah.
And we were like sitting at breakfast. I'm like, we should do a podcast. We're kind of funny.
It's like, okay.
And then I was like, wait a minute, I don't really know anything about doing a podcast.
And I knew even less because I am not technical at all.
Not even a little ounce.
You're lucky I was even able to book this podcast with you.
That's true.
Because when I came and I told Leslie, I said, I have it all booked. And she's like,
and I was like,
what? I said, I do. She goes, I'm not sure. And I said, I received an email that said that she really did get it. So.
But we really, for real, did not. I mean, she's like, okay, you've got the followers on Instagram. Yep. I've got the money.
Yep.
And then I was a little panicked when I found out how much, podcast equipment cost.
Yep.
And we didn't really know what we were doing. No. And she's like, I'll order it. So she ordered, it was at your house before we got back from California.
It was. And then this was like the first part of April, and our first podcast was April, 17th?
It was middle of April. Literally a week back.
Like a week.
We got back and we recorded the next week.
Yeah. And our first podcast was really bad because we didn't really know what we were doing. And we kind of thought that we were going to be the one that tells everybody how to do everything quilting and, BBRP. And we started this and it was like, oh my gosh. And I got off and I said, Leslie, I can't do this.
It's exhausting.
I was like talking really nice and really slow and doing all this stuff. And I just said, this just is not me. I can't do this. I got to do me if we're going to continue doing this. So then we finally,
and it wasn't me either.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was weird.
It was.
We say skip episode 1.
Yeah. Skip episode. Well, but you might want to
listen to what we're doing.
Go to episode 1. Listen, because then you appreciate the evolution.
That's right.
It's true.
That's right.
You fall in love with the real you.
I don't know if you know how long you and I have known one another, and you may not even know or remember this, that we've known one another. So I did your 100 days, 100 blocks in 2017.
Oh, was that like the first one?
Yes, I think it was. And I was like sending you stuff, and you were real. And at the same time, I was doing Jen Kingwell quilt, and I'm like, what is with these Aussies? I mean, my God, come on, you guys are like, whoa. So,
and everything has to be hard.
Yeah, everything has to be hard with you guys. It's like, why? The Americans,
Australians, us Americans, if it's not fast and easy,
that's right.
I mean, it's just
it's just how we are.
So you like your quilts like you like your men.
That's
exactly.
Right.
How did you know?
Absolutely. And then you asked me what my favorite block was, and my favorite block was block number 39.
Yep.
And that was the one that had, I think it was the 3D block. And I talked to you about how do I make this so I can make it into real quilts. And we kind of talked through that. And then, so it's like, we could almost be neighbors because we've known each other this amount of time. And then when I was in Australia in 2023, there was a group of the Aussie people that you knew also, and I was in Sydney, but your group from all the Australian people got together and put together things and got it to my hotel. So even though you may not have known you were doing it. So.
Oh yeah. That's the problem with the internet. Infamy lives on. Infamy lives on.
Yep.
It does.
It does.
So, did you finish your janking well?
I'm on the 10-year project thing, so it's 2017. So I think I still have 3 more years
left. It's an Australian project.
It is an Australian project, I'm doing the sweet tea and honey. I call it
sweet tea and green beans.
Yeah. I just call it my green bean one, and I actually have most of the blocks finished. Unfortunately for me, it came as a block of the month. And I can't do those because I get real excited and I do the first ones and then I don't ever finish anything. I need everything there all at once. So people that do that
So
way.
Did you wait till it all came in?
No, I didn't. That's why John, at Art East, you just interviewed him last week.
Yep.
Or it came out on last week. And, I was talking with him and I said, I had to wait to do the Wizard of Oz because I needed to have the whole thing all at once. And, he's so sweet. The other one's not out. Today in the mail, I got all of the one for the Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, I signed up to do John's, and it's stupid. I should know myself well enough by now. Because John does a lot of stitch and flip in his thing. There's a lot of prep work cutting, and then there's a lot of prep work trimming, and you can't, it's not like a traditional patchwork block where you can kind of go, I'll do that bit and then I'll do that bit and then they'll all just go together. You have to do it sort of sequentially. I ain't got time for that. And so I start John's and I'm like, I'm going to make this quilt. It's going to be amazing. And then I get through the first block and I go, geez, John, 100 and something stitch and flip pieces. I can't do that. I'm out. So they're very slow burn. But my Jen Kingwell, I accepted the fact that Alison Glass was not the fabric to use for my version a long time gone. And I sent all my blocks to somebody else for them to finish. Because I was like, I can't come back to this. I can't. It was just, it looked like Tinkerbell had thrown up after a hard night drinking. Like it was just every colour of the rainbow.
Well, I mean, we just did Alison Glass at Jenny Doan, at the Doan Girls.
And I have that. It's on the long arm right now.
You finished it?
I told you I was going to finish it by April. It is on the long arm. This doesn't ever happen.
It is April 30th.
I know.
Although I heard somebody called today. It's going to be May.
It's going to be May.
It's going to be May. Do you know what that is?
No.
It's from Justin Timberlake, that song where he goes, it's going to be May. And so they say April 30th, it's going to be May. Like tomorrow.
Okay. So you see the look on my face. I'm like, I didn't get it. I'm going to have to think about that one because I don't get it.
Because the way he sings it, it sounds like he's saying May.
Like, but it's
May.
Instead of me.
Instead of me. It's kind of like, gonna be May.
It's kind of like Ange is Ange, but here in the U.S. she would be Angie. But in Australia, she's Ange.
Yes. Yeah. So I am technically an Angie after the Rolling Stones song. If you drop the I out of it in Australia, it becomes Ange. And it's a form of endearment in Australia to give you a nickname. To shorten your name, give you a nickname, to the point where McDonald's has had to.
She calls me Ro.
McDonald's has had to trademark Macca's because we call it Macca's, not McDonald's. And so,
Macca's.
Yeah, Maccas, Macca's. So, if you were in Australia and you had a hyphenated last name, we'd call you two dads. You've got two dads. Because you've got two last names.
That's funny.
Wow.
There's a whole.
How about that?
There's a whole thing.
I've been calling you Lester. Remember because you're kind of if I'm your queen.
You call me Lester.
I've been doing that.
To who?
Lester. To myself.
I've never heard you call me that.
I say I'm going to be calling Lester here soon.
Just so you know, I'm not loving that.
Well, see, that's why I tried it out on myself first to see what I thought of it. Lester.
You'd probably be Les down here. Les.
She'd be Les.
See, I don't love
she
that
didn't
either.
Like that, yeah.
No.
That's why we talked about this thing with nicknames for her. And she said, no, I'm just Leslie. It's not Leslie.
Right. I've said there's no Z in my name. It's Leslie. And so when people say Leslie or Les or Les, I mean,
she doesn't like any of that.
Yeah.
So she's Leslie.
Yeah. It's the same if someone calls me Angela. I'm not an Angela. I'm an Angela.
True. Okay. Just because it looks like they've left the LA off your name.
Yeah. And my grandmother used to call me Angelina. And
you don't love that either.
No.
See, everybody's got it. Do you like Ro?
Yeah, I don't care. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. It's fine. Perfectly fine.
Because sometimes I'll call her Ro. If I'm feeling really good or spicy, I call her Ro.
Yeah.
I do.
But usually it's Ro.
Yeah. I'm okay with, you can call me anything, just not late for dinner.
That's right. I'm with you. And you know what I'm cooking for dinner tomorrow night? A lovely leg of lamb in honor of us doing this tonight because, I always eat so much lamb when I'm in Australia.
We were talking about this on Bake Club, that Americans don't have the same appreciation of lamb that Aussies do.
That's true.
And I think it's a quality thing. I think because we have built on the back of the sheep, our lamb gets more attention. So, but lamb on the barbecue, best smell on the world.
Yes, indeed.
So yes. So I
don't think I've ever had lamb.
You have not. We've had this. I'll tell you a funny story about my husband a long time ago. This is when I stopped cooking because he was complaining about my food a lot. And I went to give him dinner and he said, these pork chops taste funny. And I said, well, that's because it's lamb. And after that point in time, he's like, what? I didn't realize that he had never had lamb before he met me. And so now he loves lamb, but all of our lamb does come from Australia.
Oh, okay.
Australia and New Zealand.
Oh, it does?
I would recommend lamb chops on the grill, so barbecue on the grill, just lightly barbecued, and then fresh cracked salt over the top. Oh, because you want the salt with the fat and the and that's it.
Right,
that's it.
And you eat your lamb pretty rare. I mean, like a medium, or do you eat it rarer?
No, medium.
Because I eat my. Yeah, I was going to say I eat my beef very, very rare, but lamb is medium, and that was my Aussie friends.
You eat beef rare?
I eat my beef. You remember that? You wouldn't order a burger with me.
Oh, that's right. No, God, no. Ground beef rare,
anything
ground
rare,
beef,
all of it rare.
Like not ground beef, not mince. So we call ground beef mince. No,
minced meat.
And then I rare to medium rare on my steak if it's a good steak. If it's
I'm medium rare
steak.
plus.
I am so rare. I want you to walk up to the cow, punch it in the head, drop it down, and serve it to me that way. That's
really?
Plenty. Oh yeah, that's plenty.
Have you always been this way?
Yes, always.
My uncle is wipe its butt and put it on a plate. I'll eat it.
Yeah, I'd be with him. I would be with him. Yeah.
So
it's got such great flavor.
But not with pork. Pork has to be cooked a bit like chicken.
No,
well done.
No, I cook pork just the same way I do my lamb.
Oh, really?
Because trichinosis, because it's not an issue for us anymore now, I mean, it can still, I don't want it bloody by any mean, but I mean, it can be medium-ish.
Pinkish. Yeah.
Yep.
See?
Because then it gets starting to get dried out.
I can see why your podcast wasn't about quilting. Like it's
we can talk about quilting things too.
How long are we into this and we haven't said a thing about quilting?
We did. We talked about
100 days and Jen.
Yeah.
So 100 days. Then we're done. We can talk about whatever we want now.
Aren't you You're starting 100-day tomorrow, aren't you?
Today for me, but tomorrow for you guys, yeah.
What time is it there? I'm curious.
So am I. It is 8:08 in the morning.
AM.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So it's May 1st, 8:08.
It is May 1st. Yep.
It's April 30th here, 5:08 p.m.
Yeah, I think we're about 16 hours behind.
Yep.
Is it 16 or something like that?
Oh,
ahead. You guys are 16 hours behind.
Yes. I always celebrate. Listen, we celebrate your New Year's.
So we can go to bed.
Yep. Oh, plus Sydney, amazing. When the lights go, fireworks go off that bridge, stunning.
Right. So I've seen that. I've seen it all, and I can go to bed.
Ange, have you ever climbed the Sydney Harbour Bridge?
No, because I don't like heights. If God had wanted me to be that tall, He would have given me longer legs. So
there you go. You would have been a giraffe then.
I have been in Sydney for New Year's. We went in one year.
Yes.
And once is enough. I don't do crowds very well, and you have to stake out your spot about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And so you're there all day. And then it's a little bit like 5 minutes of wee and then a trudge back to the train station and home. And so now we watch it on the big screen instead. But it is one of those things where you should check it out. But controversially, I like the Opera House more than the bridge.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, well, when you're on top of the bridge, you can see the Opera House much better. You get to see the whole thing.
Yes. So it is a very lovely harbour to be in. But if I have to drop another controversial opinion in Australia, I prefer Melbourne to Sydney.
Did you hear the gasp from me from that? Because I know how that guy's like, whoa, that bad deal. Ooh.
I know.
And you are.
Yeah. I know, but I married we in Queensland would call him a Mexican because he's south of the border. But I married a Melburnian.
Love it.
Yeah, we're really inappropriate here.
I was going, wow.
Listen, I love it.
So
I get us in trouble most weeks.
She does. She gets us in most trouble.
Yeah. So he's from Melbourne. I've spent a fair amount of time in both, and I think Melbourne is just a nicer city. I think it's laid out. Yeah. The people who designed Melbourne went, we want you to successfully get from point A to point B. The people who designed Sydney went, see you sucker, you're on your own. It'll be a miracle if you find where you're going.
They're like, you're going to find that restaurant that you never knew was there, and you'll never be able to find it again because you don't know how you got there.
No, drop a pin because you will not be able to come back to here.
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
But it is very beautiful. But yes. Yeah. So you met, let's just circle back. You met in a retreat.
Yep.
Decided to do a podcast. How long's the podcast been on the air, for those that don't know?
2 years.
And in the 2 years, who would you say is your, controversially, can you name your top 3 guests for whatever reasons, good or bad?
Well, so obviously,
Jenny.
And it would be Angela, and then Jenny, and then Doug would probably be the way that we would rate the people that have supported us the most.
Yeah, I would say that's true. Yeah, but we've talked to some lovely people, and I mean, like Kimberly Jolly from Fat Quarter Shop, and Varushka Zarate with Pride and Joy Quilting, who, I mean, her
wonderful
paper piecing is incredible.
Right.
So we've been really fortunate to get to talk to some fantastic people.
Right. But like I said, the top 3 that we said.
Well, and Jenny and her, Misty and Natalie.
Right. Yeah. Because they're just so supportive of us when they didn't have to be.
Right.
That's one of the things that we have found in this industry is that those 3, even though we've never met Doug officially, we're friends with Doug because we're in contact with him a lot. And we're kind of we are his internet stalkers.
We are.
And he knows it, and he's okay with that.
He's ours.
He's ours also.
He stalks us too. But he stalks us back.
He does. I
don't think you can call him a stalker. I don't think you can call us. I think we're friends.
I think we're friends. Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have to meet to be friends. Like
that's true. That's true.
It's
in the
kind of
virtual
true.
age.
Right.
I really do try to support Doug. You do too.
Right.
In like his patterns and things like that. I mean, but his patterns are great. Right. So it's easy to support somebody who, you really enjoy what they do and their work. Yeah, bless you.
And I was going to tell you should buy when we're talking about doing John's Art East quilts, that you need to get Doug Lico's corner ruler that he has, his mini one, because then you cut that, you put it in there, and you cut those pieces. I mean, you're cutting one time because you're not drawing lines to get those, that flip and things. And it's amazing, but you want to get the mini one for Art East ones because their pieces are smaller.
This morning, Doug messaged me because he saw that I was going to make another quilt, one of his patterns.
Right.
And I ordered Old Glory.
Right.
And I'm going to make this quilt. And he said, do you have the red and white and the red, blue, and white dot background? And I said, no, I was just going to use Bella 200. Right. And he's like, oh, no. I'm going to send you the fabric for the background. Yep. And so that's just how he is. Yeah. He's just lovely like that. Yeah. And I'm like, well, let me pay you. He's like, no, Leslie.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm taking care of this because, I'm always going to put his name out there and say, go try this pattern. Right. Look at, but he is lovely. So it's hard for me. He was our original.
Yep.
He kind of don't forget your original.
And Angela was our first original because she's the one that named our podcast for us.
That's true.
And, and then Jenny, even when we were just at the Doan Girls retreat, the first of this month of April, and, Jenny invites us up and she introduced, and there were probably 30 people in the thing that had our t-shirts on. So people knew who we were and that we were going to be there. But she bought pearls for, plastic pearls for everybody else because, that's our signature thing that doesn't matter what you wear, we all wear t-shirts when we're retreats, and they're usually a quilty t-shirt. But if you put yourself on a strand of pearls, just makes you purty. You don't even have to fix your hair.
Exactly.
And it doesn't have to be a full strand of pearls. It could be a single pearl. It doesn't have to be a real pearl. But
just something to make you feel a little fancier.
Yep. And everybody else that looks at you's like, ooh, and pearls are back, by the way. So
they are back. Yeah. And I think, honestly, we are going to I think this is somebody in the pearl industry really owes us.
They do owe us.
Because I think we are the ones that are making this happen.
I think so too. I think it's the comeback of it. And it's like now every time I'm watching any shows or anything, online and I'm like, oh, look at that pearl necklace. Oh, look at this. Oh,
I
that's
do.
lovely.
I really do think it's becoming a thing.
It is. It's because of us. Because we're
truly,
we are truly, we're going to own it.
Trendsetters.
That's what we are, trendsetters. And then above and beyond.
Yeah.
And people will send us things and they'll say, hey, I'm going to a retreat and I have your shirt, but I don't have a strand of pearls, but I have some really nice sterling silver ball necklace. Can I wear that? And I said, just channel your inner pearl into that necklace. And absolutely you can.
Yeah.
So
yeah. It's all about the attitude.
You guys have lovely pearls there in Australia.
We do. And I saw, so we're such bad parents. We've introduced our son to, Castle
Pokemon.
You know no, didn't have to introduce, he found that himself.
Okay.
Castle, the old series of Castle where Nathan Fillion was in it and it's a murder mystery. Each episode's a different murder. So because there's 8 seasons, right? So we figured it'd keep him, he's
lots of things to watch.
Yeah, he's 11. And in one of the episodes, the mother had the most amazing pearl ring on. And I was just like, that's nice. And I Googled from Australia. I'm like,
yes,
thank you.
But
we do.
We have from Australia.
Yeah, the jewelry designer that she was wearing. Yeah, pearls and opal, which apparently bad luck. Don't ever do it.
If it's not your birthstone. Yeah, you're not supposed to wear it.
Yeah.
Wait. You're not supposed to wear the opal if it's not your birthstone?
Correct.
And do not give opal as an engagement ring.
No.
I think opals are so beautiful,
but they're so delicate that they break, and that's what they said, that if it's not your birthstone, it's not going to hold up for you because they have their fault lines or whatever they call it in jewelry.
I'm a big fan of pink diamonds. Australia does pink diamonds.
Oh yeah.
My goal has always been to get one of those in life.
You go.
Yet to eventuate, but I'm.
Well, there's always. There's always.
Listen, it's only 8:00.
That's right. Yeah,
there's a whole day left.
You've got. You could have one of those. If you have Walmart delivers, you could have that to your place.
Yeah.
We get Amazon delivered same day delivery. You could have that
for sure.
You could have that on your ring tonight.
Yeah. Well, we used to live in Canberra, which is the capital of Australia. So we had all of that stuff. But 2 years ago, we moved to the boonies, and now we don't get same day delivery. And for the first few months that I was here, I hadn't realized how much I relied on same day delivery or next day delivery. And it was a real culture shock. And I said to Grant, this is the epitome of first world problems. I can't get my junk here within 24 hours. Yeah. So, but
do your grocery stores deliver to you? Do they deliver groceries? Because, I usually get 3 Walmart deliveries a day of groceries. On the weekends, both days. On both days of the weekend.
She gets her money's worth.
I do.
Hang on.
Out of her little whatever Walmart Plus.
3 deliveries on Saturday and then 3 on
Saturday
Sunday.
And Sunday generally.
Are you entertaining? Yep. Do you have like a football team?
I am quite entertaining, but no,
she is entertaining.
There are things that I need to buy, and then we have a list of all the things that if you hit $35, it's free delivery. And if I don't have something there, you're always going to need trash liners for the bathroom. And you're going to need these other. So those are the things that you keep on the list of what's not going to go bad on you kind of thing.
Yep.
And you order those other things in because, but a leg of lamb, if I have because it comes already,
Do you get a leg of lamb from Walmart?
I do because it's imported. So it's already in its package.
Oh, okay.
So when you get one of those, that's $42 right there.
Yeah.
So, boom, that's a delivery on itself. I'm sitting there thinking, and then, I need a little bit of mint jelly to make my jelly for it. And, if I'm going to do potatoes or whatever else. So pretty easy.
We did tandoori lamb on the Komodo last. I don't know whether you guys have, the giant red egg.
The giant
green egg.
The green egg.
Yeah. Yeah. So my husband wanted one of those. So of course I'm a good wife. And so we did tandoori lamb. So you get
Grant needs to be a better husband and get you that pink diamond then. You got him the green. I mean, I think you got him the green
red one. We got the red one. The top of the line red one. Yep. Took 3 dudes to move it. Big one.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Wow.
He puts up with me, so he earned that egg.
Yeah.
He earned that egg the hard way.
He's not a bad egg himself.
Love it.
All right, let's circle back while I process the 6 Walmart deliveries in 2 days.
Good egg using the red egg.
Using the red egg and the Walmart. 6 Walmart deliveries in a day, 2 days. Is that excessive?
It might be.
I don't know.
I think it's too much.
It's a U.S. thing.
I think it's a little bit ridiculous. But that's
good. Yeah. Well,
I'm just helping the economy.
And it needs all the help it can get. So
keeping people working.
Whatever makes you feel better about that.
Yeah.
Our shops close at 6:00 on a Saturday and they close at 4 on a Sunday. So there would be no 3 deliveries for us. If you don't have it, you don't have it. But yes. So it's great living back in 1956. So
I like it. It sounds good to me.
You guys met, it's great except for the snakes. You guys
they have lots in Australia.
I'm out.
Deadly snakes.
And spiders.
Big.
And you guys have the deadliest critters in Australia than any place in the world.
Yep. It's why the quilt police don't bother us. Because we're like,
that's right. Because they're afraid they're afraid they're going to be stung or
we put up with way worse than someone telling us our points don't match, and you can't do that.
That's right.
That's why we're fearless. And we'll be right back. Are you looking for a safe space to express who you are as a fabricaholic? Look, that seems funny and it's all weird and it's right for me to say that. But let's face it, if you're listening to this podcast, there's a fair chance that you have quite a substantial fabric collection and that you pay attention to what fabrics are being released, that you like being creative, that you make time for patchwork, and that you look for friends who share a similar outlook on life and a similar appreciation for creativity and sewing and fabric collection and what the latest designers are doing. Look, if that's you, the good news is I've started a safe place for all of us to get together. It's all about having a place where you can come, share your creativity, share your favourite fabrics. We're not going to be quilt police. We don't care if your favourite fabric is a fabric that's covered with rubber ducks. Bring it, sister. That's what we want to see. So if you're looking for like-minded people, why not check out Society Gnome? You can find all the details at gnomeangel.com. We look forward to welcoming you to the group. And now, on with the chat. So, when you started the podcast, 2 years now, what's come out of the podcast that you didn't think when you start, obviously you had no idea what a podcast was for some of you, but what's come out of it that was a happy byproduct that you had no idea that you would kind of, like getting up on stage with Jenny would be massive. And there's no way when you started it, you went, oh yeah, Jenny. Well,
No, I mean, I think the story of how Jenny became a guest on our show is like one of my favorites of all time because I was in a bad place that day.
She was in a really bad place.
I wasn't feeling it. And we were at a retreat and I was not in a good mood. And to get in a good mood, I said, Roro, I'm going to send Jenny Doan a message. I mean, I was just being a sassy.
She was being real sassy.
I was just being sassy. And I'm like, she follows me on Instagram. I'm just going to message her and say, Jenny, we would love to have you on our podcast.
Yep.
And she responded and she's like, we'd love to. And I'm like, what? Wait, what's happening right now? It was so like, it was kind of an outer body experience and we were just so excited. And then when we went to go meet her, she's so genuine. And so I think what shocks me is that honestly, these people they're people. Right. They're not, they become our friends. They're just real. Right. They're real people. They're stars to us, they're like these massive, oh my gosh, they're incredible, but they are truly just so kind and good and genuine.
And they'll even say, I think for me, the thing that's the biggest shock is that the number of people that listen to the podcast and say that we've helped them get through things
like bad stuff.
It's like, my mother was dying and I was, having to go to
chemotherapy
chemo and things. And then the people that, they look forward to this. It's like, Leslie didn't drop the pin or drop the podcast sometime. It was like, 4 hours later, something like this, or it was something that comes up and people are texting me and saying, hey, is there something wrong? Are you guys okay? Did you get off the air? And I mean, Saturday morning, if you can't get up Saturday morning and by 8:00, know that you can find our podcast, people start texting us.
I start putting it on Instagram.
Yep.
Hey, hang on.
Yep.
I'm camping and I left my laptop.
Yep.
I mean, it happens. And so, I mean, I try really hard now to do it ahead of time, but yeah, I think, to your point, I mean, I think all the messages that we get on a regular basis from listeners who, you know, are on commutes, like 2-hour commutes to work, or we're their friend hanging out in their car with them and keeping them awake while they're driving home late at night. And just, you know, I don't know, it just that we can bring some joy into their life, and not necessarily just have to talk about quilting, but to be a quilting friend. Like we know quilting, but we're just here being two friends talking about stuff, and we can be their friend sitting in their quilt room, and they don't have that. Sometimes a lot of listeners do not have,
they don't.
Quilt buddies, and we're their quilt buddies.
And I think it's also been kind of cool that we talk so much about retreats and where we go to retreats and how we like retreats, and, you know, these different retreats that are setting up a single, you know, you're on your own, go ahead and come into the retreat. And people now that are saying, you know, I finally decided I was going to do a retreat. I've never done it. I went by myself, and I got there by myself, and it was wonderful. I now have a community of people because there were other people there. And I think I think our brokenness that we have with things is what people really like on our podcast, because we talk about the things that are real to us in our lives, and it's not that everything's so wonderful and great. We talk about struggles. We talk about the struggles we have with friends, the loss of friendship. I mean, you know, we've talked about all of that stuff, and everybody in this community has gone through the same thing we have. And now they have someone else that we've put a voice to it. Yeah. And people are like, oh, wow, I'm not crazy over this. Oh my gosh, that happened to me. Oh, I like what you did with that. And so, you know, and then of course we get the other people that are like, you guys are totally whacked and, you know, you should be off the air. And it's like, okay, you know,
you talk too loud. I'm tired of hearing your laugh.
That's right. They don't want to see your face.
Shut up already.
Like, we're like, whatever, you know, okay. So whatever you think. But
I mean, you do have to get to a point where you're like, whatever. Like you just get immune to stuff like that. Like we're going to still be who we are.
Right.
And you're welcome to listen or you're welcome to not.
And it's still, you know, people that think that what, like we like to say, oh, it doesn't bother us, but it does. I mean, it's not something that you know, you're like, oh yeah, gosh, you know, I could see how they would take it that way, but we're not out there trying to hurt anybody. You know, we're not trying to sell you anything. We just, you know, want to be part of this quilty world and what it is for us.
But I will say there's moments where after a podcast, I'll go, Rochelle,
that was really good.
It was good, or you don't need to apologize for that.
Yeah, you know, this is true. One of the things, and I apologize for a lot of things, and Leslie has decided to take it upon herself to say, no, you don't need to apologize for this. And when she's editing, she's taking it out because that's ridiculous to have to apologize to someone for that. And, you know, that shows a support of a friend that is supporting you on what you said and did, and saying that, you know, we're not going to let someone take that you shouldn't do that.
No, because what happens in those moments, and you can tell, like you've been left with this feeling of guilt, like that you did something wrong where you didn't do anything wrong. Somebody might have interpreted it away, or everyone's going to have a thing. Right. Yep. And if we all sit around just being offended by everything people say, I mean, what a lousy life that is, right? And you can't sit around worrying about that stuff all the time and apologizing for it all the time. Like if you did something on purpose, that's different. Right. Yeah. But we're not sitting here trying to tick people off.
Not at all.
You know, there's no intent for that.
No, so that's why I'm like, I don't know anyone who wakes up, puts 2 feet on the ground and thinks, I'm going out to tick off as many people as I can today. Like
now, there's some on the internet. Probably
we could do one whole podcast of who we want to tick off. Whoa! So speaking of ticking people off, Ange, this is going to be one of the things that I did learn from you back in 2017. Yeah. So it was in one of our chit chats, and I was telling you that I was going to cut something for one of those blocks in there. And I said, you know, the perfect piece for this is actually about, and I had a yard of this fabric, and it's actually about 9.5 inches in to that piece of fabric. And you said, so you have, you know, how many other, what do you have? What you have at least 26 more inches there. What do you care of 9.5 inches? Cut it. And I was like, okay, now does that sound like advice you would have given me?
I love it.
Yes.
Yep. She's like,
yep. Yeah. Because in Australia, and I don't know whether you guys have this saying, but we have a saying that somebody calls a shovel an effing spade if they're very blunt. They don't. So there's the saying normally goes, "Oh, she calls a shovel," but it's she calls a shovel an effing spade because she's just so straightforward and blunt, and that's me. I'm not gonna. I spend a lot of time apologizing because I'm like, I'm really sorry. Yeah. I didn't think about how blunt that might have sounded, or I didn't take into consideration.
Really as bad as you thought.
No, probably not. And then sometimes I say stuff and we get the letters, emails from people and they're like, I can't believe you said that. And you're like, if I had looked at that for 3 years, there's no way I could have taken that from what, and there's no way. Right. Mm-hmm. And so I just kind of go, you have to at times go, look, I'm not your cup of tea. Go look for something else. Like you're drinking at the wrong bar. Go. And so, and it's a skill that you have to learn. And for a lot of years, I lost a lot of creative time and time in my business because I let those few people dictate everything. And so it's only been the last few years where I've kind of gone, you know what? This ain't for you. And that's not a bad thing. Yeah. That's great. Yeah. Right. Yeah. You know yourself well enough to go, that's not for me. Mm-hmm. Go find the person who is for you. And if I can point you to someone who I think might be, I'll give you the assist and go, all right, well, if you don't like me, you might like this person. And so it's really difficult and I find it really hard. I mean, you guys, the name of your podcast is Inappropriate Quilters. Like, it's true. If you're
you're on our podcast and you're offended, you did that to yourself.
Yeah. If you're honestly delicate flower,
why are you here?
Just pick the next one. Pick the next one.
Right. Delicate flower. Delicate flower.
That will be our thing now that you'll be able to say that. Now we're going to talk about the delicate flower.
Listen, that's exactly how I feel about it. And honestly, like I think I came to this realization way faster than you have.
Well, because I look at,
you're a people pleaser.
Well, and I also say you can only see things through your own lenses. Yeah. So when someone else brings to me what their opinion is on something, they're seeing it through their lens. Now I have to interpret from my lens to their lens to try to see their way of coming with it because I'm the people pleaser, like Leslie always says, and it's true. And I'm okay with that. But, I think it's part of being an educator that, I taught for so many years that the way I thought something should be may not necessarily be what my students or their parents think it should be.
Yeah. But when it crosses a line of you're now apologizing for just being yourself.
Yeah.
That's when we have to take a step back and say, you know what?
Not happening.
Nope. We're not going to be different.
Right.
We are who we are. We're not here to offend anybody. Right. If you're offended, you have to check yourself.
Yeah.
That's just the truth.
Yeah. And take responsibility to choose something else. Right. Like you have you have the power, turn it off. Right. Flick the channel.
It reminds me. We had an episode early on, episode 11. We always talk about episode 11.
Have you listened to episode 11?
No, but I'm writing it down.
Okay, so listen to episode 11. We had an outtake because we were early in the podcast. We weren't sure like how inappropriate
2.5 months we were into it.
Yeah. We weren't sure how inappropriate we could be. And so we were like, so I put a thing out there. I'm like, listen, I've edited this part out.
Right.
I've put it as a separate little snip. You are more than welcome to listen to it or not. But I was like, do you guys want me to post it as a separate snip so that you can hear it? Right. We had all these people vote.
Wanted to. Yes.
They all wanted to see it. Hear it.
Of course they do.
I'm like, fantastic.
Yeah.
Of course. So I put it out there. All the feedback we got was hilarious because they're like, oh my gosh, been waiting for this. Like I've been waiting for more like inappropriate like parts. And what was hilarious though, I had one that responded and said, if you're going to talk like this going forward, I'm not going to listen to your podcast anymore. This is, and it really wasn't even that big a deal.
But what was really funny is she was one that voted yes. She wanted to have it put in.
I went back and looked and she voted to listen to it. And I'm like, okay. And then then I can't help you.
And
know?
Now for anybody that's listening to this one, we wouldn't even have taken that out now. That would just be, now there are things that are in there. It's like jelly beans and
now
that
would not even wouldn't even cross our mind to like edit out.
Not at all.
Double down.
Just let her fly.
But it's like people who subscribe to your newsletter and then mark it as spam and say, I didn't sign up. And you're like, were you on the website at this IP address at this time from this house?
Right.
I'm pretty sure that's you.
Yeah, clearly did.
You did.
Yeah,
but sure
exactly.
It's just fun. And I know there'll be things that I do that I kind of go, I don't know why I did that to myself. And it is a learning journey where you kind of go, I have to be mature enough to go, all right, that's not for me. But because it's not for me doesn't mean that it has to not exist in the world anymore. Right. I don't like Pooh Brown, but Pooh Brown needs to be around to make other colors sing. If we got rid of it.
Pooh Brown, I thought that was a person. You're talking a color.
I thought that had to be like some Australian cartoon.
Well, and I kept thinking that it was
Australian. Like Winnie the Pooh, like a bear.
They call it Pooh
Brown.
Yeah, you know, there's
but that's really more poop like
brown.
Poopy, like
crap color.
Poo baby Pooh Brown. I don't do it.
Yeah, Schwa. Yeah.
Look at us, a bunch of 12-year-old boys. Just
oh my Lord! No idea. Let me tell you, you should see it. We're doing Quilt Walk in Liberty, Missouri, March 6th.
8th.
Oh, I'll be there the 6th.
She's literally. I have to tell her the 8th every time, and she'll go 6th.
I'm going to be there the 6th, but anyway,
it's International Women's Day on March 8th. That's how you remember.
That's how. Well, at that time, Jenny Doan is going to be doing she's doing the showcase and a program, and then of course it's Angela Walters puts on this whole big thing. But that afternoon, the four of us are recording. We're doing because we've done Angela, we've done Jenny, we've not done us together, and we know what happens when there's just us with each of them.
We're like 12. They're like 12-year-old boys,
and we're
like 12-year-old boys,
and it gets so bad.
But the four of us together, can you imagine?
We are so looking forward to that. So that day we'll actually be recording twice because we'll be recording on the street to the people to get to the do the know, and then later that day we'll be doing it with those guys. So
fun.
It'll be really funny.
A lot of very immature people.
Yeah, to see where we go and what's going to happen with us from there. So
are you guys? Do you remember when Sex and the City first aired and men were like shocked that women would talk like that with their friends?
Yes.
Do you guys think you're the Sex and the City for Quilters podcasts? You've shocked the quilting world that women.
Oh.
I don't know that we've gone that far. We're not that blunt.
No, we're not that blunt.
But we insinuate.
We do,
and I would say we've insinuated more in the last few months.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened.
Don't you think?
I do.
And then I'll be like,
happened.
oh my God, did you say that?
It's like, yeah.
I said something the other day. Did I say, I said something and I was like, I can't believe I said that.
Yeah.
But well, who cares?
So,
and I'm not editing it out. I mean, it has to be, I had to edit Angela, but I didn't even edit her out. I learned how to do a beep.
She learned how to do a beep. And she didn't even say a bad word. It was an S word. But
you can't say that.
You can't say that. So,
or we have to code it explicit. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that. So I'm just like, I'll just beep over her little word.
Yeah.
And then she's like,
I put everything as explicit because I never know what's going to offend someone, and I can't find a list of what Apple thinks is explicit. So just to be on the safe side, I E everything so that I can go, well, it had an E on it. So, you know, if you choose to.
I don't because I feel like I limit our audience by having the E on there.
Right.
But, so we keep it clean,
we do.
But we push the envelope a little bit, probably.
Yeah. And then when it starts happening, when you're talking about the Sex and the City people, what's interesting with this is I have decided I need to have something to watch while I'm sewing things. And so I have just started watching Sex and the City all over again. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't remember these things in there. So I think as far as the friendship part goes, I see that because, we have our friends and, you don't always agree with someone and you kind of have that little that goes on and then the group gets back together kind of a thing. So, I see that part. And I think that off the air, we probably talk about the Sex and the City things more, but not on
the air for sure.
Sorry,
my dog is being naughty, and this is a normal thing.
It's a normal thing.
We deal with this and John had to leave. That's why I've got her.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So
we would normally have Huxley in here barking and carrying on like a pork chop, but
that's PJ's. Yeah,
PJ wants everyone to know she's alive and well,
and she went to the groomer, and so she's wearing yellow bows
today
and a neckerchief, so she's quite fancy right now.
Why doesn't the hairdresser do that?
Right? These glasses? What do you think of these glasses?
I love them.
They do.
They are great. I looked at a black and white.
They make me a little dizzy.
Yeah. Oh, well, see, hypnotize people.
That's right. There we go.
See, no, I love them.
Think so. Yeah.
I don't think they look right on me.
Me too. I do too.
We got new goggles lately. Yes. And when I had mine on, I like a bold glasses, right? And in the metropolitan city, not a problem because there's bold glasses every third person.
Right.
In a small country town, bold glasses.
Yep.
This is the optometrist walks out. I'm trying them on. I've decided I'm going with this. And she goes, big choice. And just keeps walking.
For the ones you're wearing right now? I would not consider that a big choice at all, Ange.
No,
at all.
I think they're great.
Me neither.
I think they're great.
Okay.
Wow.
There was no filter there. She just said the first thing she thought. And we'll be right back. If you're like me, you love quilting. You love fabric. You love patchwork. You love everything to do about it. When you're not doing something for work-related or family-related or you've got free time on your hands, what you're thinking about is quilting. Quilting, fabric, patchwork. That's all it is. If this is you, then I have the challenge for you. 100 days, 100 blocks. It's a simple challenge. I ask you to sew one patchwork block a day for 100 days. If you're interested in sewing along with me for 100 days as we make a 100 block sampler quilt, then check out all the information at GnomeAngel.com. Click the link in our bio and description for more, and I can't wait to see you there and to sew along with you. And now, on with the chat.
I have to ask though, so I see like lots of bolts of fabric behind you.
Yeah.
But what's up on the shelves behind you? Is that all patterns?
So there's bolts of fabric on the far wall. And bolts of fabric.
Oh, I can see. Okay. Oh, then it's way far away from you.
Yeah.
It seems. It
seems like it's as close as we are with what you're seeing behind us because we're very close.
Yeah, but yours has a very nice kind of feel to it. Yeah, I can't reach mine.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. I was really trying to. That's a lot of fabric.
Now you sound like my accountant.
The super back wall is also
that's fabric.
That's fabric.
On the very, very back. That's wow.
Wow. Didn't you think it was maybe patterns or something?
Well, I thought, I don't know what I thought they were.
No, it's fabric. And my accountant would very much like me to turn it back into cash. Right. And
and you said, so people, you need to be buying things because you do ship to the U.S.
We do ship to the U.S., but we are, postal prices are not competitive.
It's expensive. We've had so many people asking for shirts.
Yeah.
And I can't find anything. I'm like, it doesn't work.
Redbubble?
It's just not I don't know, Redbubble.
We don't know Redbubble.
Redbubble are a print on demand and they'll ship. I'll send you the link. They'll ship anywhere in the world, but they print locally to the place that they're shipping to.
But they're because they're printing the shirts and things, right?
And we
sell. They're good quality. Look,
and that's where we run into those kinds of things. And I'm like, I'll look, and I'm like, I wouldn't pay. That's why I can't. I just can't see myself I would never pay that.
I'm not going to pay $85 to get myself a T-shirt to my house.
But you're not your audience, right? Because this is what
I know, but
you're not your audience.
That's not good. But that's just not good value.
But you're not their budget keeper either. Like, because that was my thing too.
She's not the shovel. What is it that she said? She's the hoe?
She said the spade.
Okay, well. Sorry.
She is not a hoe.
Just call me Roxanne, baby, and I'll put my red light out.
That's right, Roxanne.
No, because the other option you could do is go say, all right, in June we're going to have shirts available for an Aussie people, and if you want, we could talk about this off the podcast. And then everyone pre-orders, you ship it to one place, and then that person ships it out.
Right.
So
I just keep thinking I just need to make another trip back to Australia and bring them all with me and say I'll be at this place at this time.
How long does it take to get there?
Oh, it's long. 19 and a half hours.
Bad. It's bad.
But the best way to do it is to fly to Hawaii and spend a week in Hawaii, because that's 8.5 hours. And then it's 8 hours back in to get into Sydney from Kauai. And so then you're splitting it up.
If we're going to play that game, fly from New York to London, spend some time in Europe, work your way across, and then fly back down. The best way is out of Houston via New Zealand. Yeah. So Houston, Auckland, Sydney is a nicer flight. And New Zealand, if you're listening, I do take sponsorship. It's a good flight. They feed you lots, but they fly with the sun. So you get on late in the afternoon in the US, and then you get in the morning here, so you don't feel like you've lost that day. Does that make sense?
Right. Well, and you actually, we always get that extra day because, like you say, you are ahead. And then when I come home, I add an extra month on to myself. So I'm a month younger when I get back here. Every time I come to Australia is what I always think that ends up happening with me.
I think that's how that works.
Well, in my head, that's how it works.
In my head, I'm still in my early 20s, and I've only just migrated into my early 20s. So most of the time I'm 12.
I am in mine.
You are in your 20s? Not me. I'm in my 70s, and I look fabulous.
I love when she does that.
I look fabulous.
I look terrible. I'm in my 20s, and I look terrible. I look ragged like I feel.
Carrying a lot of extra weight, people always think I'm much younger because I've got a baby face. But yes.
There you go.
Love it.
When I said to the lady at the optometrist, I need chunky frames to support all of this skin. And she was like,
there you go. My skin.
I like it.
That's good.
Don't be so hard on yourself. And I'm like, it's not hard when you're honest with yourself. I still look amazing. Right. But it's fine.
Yeah.
And I look amazing for me. Well, I've gotten up this morning and brushed my hair.
There you go. Well, I've always said, I take ownership of my weight because I'm not going to let anybody use it against me and say, oh God, she's fat. It's like, so I talk about that I'm fat because, this is a choice that I have, so I'm like, I'm okay with that. I'm owning this thing. And it's not like all of a sudden you're going to come in and look at, see me. I airbrush myself down where, I look like I weigh 87 pounds and all of a sudden they see me and they're like, whoa, what happened there? And I said, I was the flat Rochelle then.
I do this
I like how, when I started dieting though, and I'm like, I can't have whatever, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, no, you choose not to have that. And I'm like, so that was a really good lesson for me, like to not have that whole language around, I can't.
It's, I'm choosing not to. Yeah, it is a choice. It's all a choice.
And it's not, I'm choosing not to have that. I'm choosing to fit into my jeans. That's the
right. Yeah. Yep.
It's like fabric, right? I don't know whether you guys get it as well, but it drives me batty when people are like, I'm saving that. What the hell are you saving it for? Like you could be dead tomorrow.
Right.
Cut into it, use it.
Cut the fabric.
Yeah. And a big.
No, I do have a hard like fat quarter bundles that are cute.
She can't cut them.
I
buy two,
but
one for use, one for display.
Well, you know what? I teach a lot of collage classes, and I was teaching last week at the Mercantile, and one of the ladies had some fabric there, and I said something to her about a piece that was perfect to go into this collage. It was the right size. And she was like, but I just don't know. I just can't do that. And I said, my goal in life is when I'm dead and someone has to come in and take care of my estate for me, that they find this piece of fabric that's so beautiful and they open it up and the center of it has a big piece out of it. Because you know what? I paid for it. I'm going to use it. You're getting it at a discount because it's at my estate sale. So guess what? You got the middle out. I got the piece I wanted.
Yeah. And I'm like, if I love something, I'll frame it. I'll frame like a piece of it and I'll hang it in the house until I love it no more. And then that, because if you want to enjoy it, that's how you enjoy it. Like it's not, but you buy the fabric to cut it. You buy it to use it. You buy it to put it in the quilts. If you know, that's the goal. That's what we are. And so,
and you want your quilts used, don't you? You want people having them out in the sand and dirt.
I want my quilt used.
Yeah.
I want red wine stains, chocolate stains from them being on the couch. I want the kid to.
Well, I don't think I want those on my grandma's quilt. That one.
You might change it later.
Yeah,
you know, it's enjoy because you're slugging it up and loving with grandma.
It's because I'm slaving over it.
So Leslie and I have this difference in making a quilt. She always gives me crap because I have quilts that'll take me 10 years to do, and Leslie will start in the morning and she will have it finished and have it to me and back the next day. I mean, Leslie's a 48-hour turnaround on a quilt from start to finish, and that includes the binding, and that's getting me to long arm it.
That might be a little extreme.
72 at the max. But she has started this pixel quilt, and it has 1,088 pieces in it. Or no, what is it?
3? I want to say
it has to be more than that.
So Santa.
Yeah.
Well, my Santa, I think, has 1,088 pieces.
It's over 3,000 pieces.
So I said, welcome to my world of all the pieces in a quilt.
I'm not used to something taking that long.
She is not.
Like I don't have that normal patience that goes with like a long-term relationship
with a quilt.
It's amazing that I've been married as long as I have.
That's true
but this quilt is pushing my limits to like, okay, this is not going to be done tomorrow.
Right.
It's not going to be done this week.
It's not going to be done next month.
Nope.
Yeah.
So,
I think it'll be done.
Have you broken it up?
I think 31 days.
Have you broken it up into like, I'm going to do that? That bit,
she's going to turn you.
Shut the door. Can you grab the door?
She tells me, shut the door.
Shut the door. You can just.
Because I'm going to judge you on the.
There's the start of it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I'll show you.
This is what it's going to be.
This is what it's going to be. This is my grandmother.
Yep. Yeah, that's going to hang on the wall quilt. That's not a cuddle.
But don't you see the hair? I want you to put the picture.
Isn't that fabulous?
Look at how, and Dee, this is her software. But when you look at that picture and you look at this quilt, you can see, the highlights of the hair. Everything that's in that picture is in that pixelated quilt.
Yeah.
So are you going to do the shirt the same pattern as because that'll be fun too. Mm-hmm. They're just a different. And so
it's just, oh gosh, it's going to be a wild ride. But here's the cool thing: the shirt. You're familiar with gingerbread?
Yep.
Are you familiar with gingerbread? This looks very gingerbread to me.
Yep.
My grandmother's blouse. So I reached out to her and I'm like, hey, I'm going to send you a picture. I'm curious if you know of any, do you have any fabric that you've done that looks like this? And she actually did not have, but she sent me the link to something she thought looked exactly like it. Mm-hmm. And it was on Spoonflower, I think.
Oh, so you're making it.
I'm totally ordering it. Yep. It looks exactly like the fabric in her blouse in this picture amazing. From 19. This probably was in
38.
Yeah, maybe 35, 38, somewhere in there. Yeah. So it's wild to me. And so I'm going to have that as the backing on the quilt because it just makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
And what's really cool about this, again, in this industry is that the willingness of people that are out there when you send something to them.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was so surprised in 2017 when you're responding back to me.
Would help.
I would help. But that's not because
I'm shocked that I responded to you because responding is not one of my strong suits.
Well, you must have really liked what I was sending to you because you were responding to me. I mean, we went on for a really long time here. Or maybe it was someone else and I just thought it was you. No, I know it was you because it was your dang 100 blocks.
Yeah.
I know it was you.
Yeah, no, I am really shocking with correspondence. And to the point where my inbox is out of control. And it's that thing of I want to sit down and give everyone time, and I want to, you know, when someone opens up to you and sends you something personal, you want to invest that time back to them. But in amongst running a supposed fabric store and doing the patterns and the events and all of that sort of stuff.
It's funny.
It can be a fabric store even if you're not selling stuff.
Oh, yeah. I'm a fabric
something
store.
going on there that your accountant wishes you would sell more of. Right. Just saying.
I'm a fabric storage unit that identifies as a fabric shop.
That's good.
I love that.
That's really good.
But it's awesome. It's that thing of time. Like I want to have a balance with my family, and I'm just one person. We dabbled with having my mum come in and help out, but she's retired and I want her to enjoy her retirement and all of that sort of stuff. And so you kind of go, you know what, this is a one-person gig for a little bit longer.
Right.
It's just not the same. And I think it's that community. The community is what drew me to the quilting online and all of that sort of thing. Right. Because I didn't know a lot of quilters. There's no sewers in my family. So it's not like I had someone I could go, yo, what's this?
That's a big one.
She's being naughty. Sorry.
Ange goes all of a sudden, my gosh, both the girls just left. The mics went. It was like the drop of the mic. You should have seen.
Lost a hair bow.
You should have seen the look on your face when you saw both of us leave. It's like they're in Oklahoma. There's tornadoes. What's going on? Because we are both gone.
No, the princess.
Did one of them pass wind? Because you just went, oh, that's a bad one. And
yes, it was. It was so bad.
It was the bark of the dog.
She just, she's so bad.
She's very cute, though. If I was that cute, I'd demand attention too.
Oh, she does demand attention.
She does.
Why don't hairdressers treat us like groomers and let us leave with a new bandana and a hairband? Like,
they should.
Nothing cute except, we get nothing.
We get hair down in the back of our neck. That's it.
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
A lot of times we leave the hairdresser crying. That's how bad it is.
Yeah.
I haven't done that in a hot minute.
I would like
to.
But
I have one that I like that I've been using for a long time. You do too.
I've been going to the same lady for 10 years, and I go every 4 weeks. I get my hair cut and colored every 4 weeks. My hair is always the same length. It's always the same color.
Yep. That's
because
good,
I have angel hair. It's because I have three hairs on the top of my head.
You get it colored too? Every 4 weeks?
Every 4 weeks. Yep.
Wow.
And sometimes we do the highlights. So we always do, the gray stuff through here and stuff. And then sometimes we'll add other highlights and sometimes we don't. Yep. Every 4 weeks.
So you've got really fine hair?
Maybe she's been ticked off because she had a bandana on.
Maybe. I don't have very much hair and I have very, very fine hair. So I always say you have to be really specific with God when you pray, because I always prayed to be thin.
Oh, you weren't specific enough. Thin from the neck down. Neck down.
That's right. That's what I wanted, and I didn't get that. I got it from the chin up.
Yeah,
because even the chins on the hair on my chinny chin, they're thicker than the hair on my head.
Yeah,
and they grow better.
My dad's 70th birthday was last week, and so I spent a portion of my week doing a slideshow of his life. And I was researching different things, and I was like, I'm surprised there's nothing Mediterranean in our cultural background heritage, because I have hair everywhere. Like it's not, and it's thick and it's dark and it's, and I'm like, where do you get that from?
That's how my daughter's is.
Our 11-year-old son the other day went, Mum, I think I'm getting a monobrow. And I'm like, buddy, just embrace it. Like you'll look extra excited, extra angry. Just go with it.
Fine. It's fine.
Just be part of that.
Yeah. This is how our family is, and this is probably too much, but when I was 12 or 13, I was the last girl to start shaving my legs in my posse of friends.
Oh.
And so I was getting pressure. I was like, you gotta, and so I'd finally got up the nerve, and I was in the bathroom, and I put my head around the door and I sung out to my mum, Mum. And she comes, and I'm like, can I shave my legs, please? And my father, never one to miss a beat, walking behind her goes, start now. By the time you're 16, they'll be trunks. And I was like,
oh, how lovely of him.
I was like, okay.
Oh, heavens.
He wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong. Nope.
Yeah.
So,
and I don't have any, I don't even have hair on my arms.
Oh.
You know, you see here, there's,
you have a little bit. It's a little fuzzy.
I mean, yeah, but you can't get anything to come up.
My mum
noticed.
Very fair, very blonde, very fair. She has no eyebrows because it's very blonde, blonde hair. And a girlfriend of ours is an eyebrow and eyelash technician.
Oh, yeah.
And when she was here, I asked her if she could put eyebrows on my mum. Funniest thing. Just go from no eyebrows to eyebrows. Permanently look surprised.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
I use stencils for mine.
Oh, really?
You go to yeah, they have all these different stencils for your eyebrows, and you get to decide what you want them to look like. So when I went there and I asked them which one should I use, and we picked out this is the one, and then you have the eyebrow shadow is 2 colors that you mix these 2 colors together, and it's a brush. You brush it on, and then you put the stencil this way, and then you flip it over on the other side. So you're using your stencil is a right and a left.
Oh,
and then it has little lines, so you know where you're supposed to line up here and on here. So the eyebrows always look like they're at the spot they're supposed to be. You did not know I did all this stuff, did you, Leslie?
It's a lot.
It's a lot
of work.
I get up, brush my teeth, brush my hair. That's it. Like, this is how the Lord intended me.
Deodorant.
Yeah. Or if you're my husband and you're choosing not to wear deodorant anymore, he won't wear deodorant. He doesn't believe in it.
Nope.
So what he does is rubbing alcohol, and he does his armpits with rubbing alcohol. And he has no odor.
Does that sting?
I would think so. I would think so.
Rochelle,
but I don't know.
This man of yours.
I know. He's kind of special.
He's got some quirks, dude.
It's my Lancy. And I walk in the house and I think, and I chose this and I get to come home to this every single day.
Exactly.
Every day. It's my choice. Every day.
I'm sure there's some days where you're like, this was my choice. This was my choice. There's no spring
and
in
then
the
I look at my calendar and say, oh, I'm only here 2 more days, then I'm gone for 2 weeks.
Go away.
I'm gone for 2 weeks. Now I was home for 2 days.
So I'm just going to circle back and change subject. When we were talking about things that we have to apologize for, are there any terms in quilting that you kind of go, because I had a lady email me or email a friend of mine, Sam Hunter from Hunter's Design Studio. Because
love Sam.
Me too. And she calls a spade a shovel.
She does.
She plugged the podcast in her newsletter like a good friend, and a lady wrote back a diatribe about the use of fussy, doesn't like fussy, demeaning to women, patronizing, all of this sort of stuff, and asked Sam to contact me and get me to change the name of the podcast. Now, when I first started fussy cutting, I was like, I don't like the term fussy because to me it sounded old and I wasn't old. But now I'm like, the fussy cutting is what it is. That's it. That's what it is. I am fussy about that. It's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. I am just what I am. Is there any terms like fat quarter, layer cake,
obese
cake, obese eighth,
obese eighths? Just, I mean, it's bad enough that you're, that you're a fat eighth, but an obese eighth. Leslie will get on her soapbox on this one.
I so am over all of it. Like, get over who are these snowflakes out there?
Oh no, so you can't say
delicate flowers. They're delicate flowers.
I just don't care. I told Rochelle last week, I am almost 50 years old. I spent the first 30 years of my life worrying about what other people thought. Then I worried about the next 10 years of my life, whether I was fitting into the right crowd or not. And now I just don't freaking care. And if you don't like what you're hearing, bye.
Is.
If they don't like your Fussy Cutters Club name, then they don't need to be a part of your tribe.
They don't.
Bye.
They don't like the name Snake Toe Studios. Snake Toes, they say, is stupid.
Have a lovely, sheltered life. Bye-bye.
So is it
our next recording of ours will be really fun?
You're welcome.
I just can't stand it. What's happened in this world? Our world has gone mad. I'm offended by a fat quarter.
Like what? Totally getting a rocking chair for the porch beside my dad, and you and him can go all day about that. Because he's like,
it's a piece of cloth, for God's sakes. I mean, I don't understand.
Obese 8 still get me.
It's the dumbest. Like, what? No. Fabric does not have feelings. Freaking weirdos. I just can't. Get over yourselves, people.
There we have it. There we have it.
Sorry. There you go. You wondered if it gets real. Here we are.
So for those,
did you think of your 3 Ps yet? Because now I'm going to bring it back to what I want. What are your 3 Ps?
Potato.
You want to know ours?
Well, yours was
potato.
Yours was peanut M&Ms. Pretzels? No.
Popcorn and pickle products.
Yeah, pickle products. That one kind of threw me.
Yeah, it throws most. That's fine.
Yeah.
Most throw up.
No, there's a whole group of us that love pickled products.
It's so bizarre.
Whole group of us.
I never even paid attention to pickle products till I met you, and now I see
that's
them.
all she sees.
I see them everywhere I go, like to little shops and stuff.
But
and
is it
like pickled asparagus and just
so it's pickled
stuff
not pickles like cucumbers.
Yeah.
Anything.
Pickled.
Pickled
anything.
pig's feet, pickled eggs, pickled Brussels sprouts and asparagus and anything that you could pickle, I would eat.
So it's the vinegar brine that you like about it?
Yeah.
The vinegar, okay. So you'd like salt and vinegar chips?
I do like salt and vinegar chips.
Oh, I do too, but I don't like pickles.
But no.
So potatoes are one?
Potatoes.
Because I couldn't think of another way of saying chips, fries. So potato. But potato mash,
potato chip is what we would say.
Potato chip.
Yeah, potato
That's
chip.
what we would say in the US.
Fries, like anything. So potatoes and then processed sugar.
That's good. That could be candy.
Processed sugar.
That's what I was thinking. Chocolate candy.
Peeps.
And then this is an old reference, but I had to go with pop for soda.
Oh yeah,
yeah, yeah. Because I can't do anything other than Coke Zero. So I don't drink coffee. I don't drink tea, and I don't drink alcohol. Do I like?
Do you eat Peeps?
No, I don't do marshmallow. Can't do marshmallow.
Oh, another. She's like Angela.
You are.
It's something with the Ange.
It must be something with the Ange. The anti peep.
Yep. Can't do marshmallow or banana. It's a texture thing. It's that.
Really?
Yep.
Love
squish. The squish of it.
Yeah, it's just.
So then you probably don't like candy corn.
I don't think I've ever had candy corn.
Oh.
Yeah. So it used to be my thing when I'd go to Quilt Market that I'd have to make it.
If it's a texture thing, then it's not that.
No.
But it's marshmallow. Candy corn, marshmallow.
Candy corn, though, it's not a texture thing, though.
Yeah,
candy
it
corn's
like a marshmallow.
Yeah, I don't think it's so much the taste
it's not the taste. It's the because I don't mind. I don't mind a pavlova. Oh, that could have been another P.
Oh, I love pavlova.
And it's a bit marshmallowy on the inside. It's meringue, but it's a meringue that's cooked so that it's crunchy
really
on the outside and soft on the inside.
I think you would like candy corn.
It's like 7-minute icing. Have you ever had that?
No.
Oh, okay. Guys can say that's what it's kind of
sounds like you're making me something next week.
Sounds like something's coming.
Lamb followed by a pav.
That's right. That's right.
I didn't get to this size by being discerning about what I put in my mouth.
Yeah, I hear
But
you.
I do have a few things that I'm like, I can't do texture of. But when we would go to Quilt Market, one day when we were I would make sure that on one day while we were at Quilt Market, I would go to Walmart and just try something through, like pick a whole heap of candy from, and because Quilt Market's around Halloween, you get like the extra stuff. And so then we would go back to the hotel and put all the candy on the bed and then just try a little bit of everything.
All the different candy.
There you go.
And one year we went to we went to Disneyland for Halloween. We took it. So my favorite holiday that we've ever had was a week at Disneyland over Halloween. And we took the kids trick-or-treating to the Halloween party thing that Disney put on.
Right.
And because he was Australian and cute, every time he'd get to the thing and he'd go, trick or treat, the staff member would be like, oh, you're Australian. Here, have 2 handfuls. And so we walked out of there with like 10 pound of chocolate. And so that gave us another spread of different things as well. But I think your chocolate is processed a little differently to ours. So
yes, it is
likely.
It's a different, and we're not allowed to
probably
use.
Way unhealthy over here.
Well, we're not allowed to use corn fructose.
Right.
In Australia. Yeah. And so
right.
we don't have any of those kind of sweeteners that come from that.
Right.
So, yeah, just completely different. But I'm down to try any sort of
interesting.
So when you did Disney, I also like to go in the end of October because you have all the Halloween stuff and then they switch over to Christmas.
Yep.
So it's so weird because October 31st, it's all Halloween, but November 1st, boom, now everything's switched to Christmas, that they do it that quick. So that's the perfect time to go.
Yeah. So we did Houston Quilt Market first and then did a week at Disneyland. We did 6 days at Disneyland, staying on site at Disney. And then we did the Oogie Boogie Bash and we flew out. Our last day at Disney was the 1st of November and we flew out that afternoon from LAX in November 2019. So we flew out of LAX just as COVID was landing in America.
As COVID was landing in there, yeah.
And it was really weird being back in Australia and going, because we sat a lot of time on Main Street just watching people.
Right.
And then my husband and I were like, if you told us that in 3 months' time Main Street would be empty, we would have been like, no chance.
Yep,
but
that's right. Well, I was in Antarctica in March of 2020, and then we had a lot of Australians that were on the same, that were doing the same thing we were. And they were just freaking out because they were like, you just do not know what our lockdown's going to be like and what's going to happen with them. And they were locked down. You guys would lock down, for like 3 months. Anybody that came in from, being on the cruise ships that we were on, stuff like that, it was crazy.
But we lived in Capital City. We went 12 months without having a locally acquired case of COVID in a capital city.
Wow.
We had a 99.9% immunization rate of our population in that city. And so we did not have the same COVID experience that the rest of the world kind of had. And even now, to have someone, so Grant's stepmom has COVID at the moment, and it's only the second time she's got it or something like that. We've only ever had it once. We went 3 years before we got it, and I got it the week before I flew out to America. So we just did not have the same experience that the rest of the world had. But we gave up. We sacrificed a bit to get that experience. So
yeah, you guys did. You really did. I don't know. I think that when I got sick over Easter, they kept COVID testing me and everything kept coming back negative. I'm just an adult that got ear infections.
I only got COVID once.
Yeah. And I've never had it. Yeah.
I was I was mostly just so tired. I had no energy at all.
Yeah.
And I would just sit and look at that king size quilt that I was trying to put together. And I'd be like,
not
nope.
gonna happen.
And that was so weird because because I would be like, that would normally I'd have been like zip, zip, zippity daw. And I just couldn't. I just had nothing in my tank.
There's nothing left for it to do.
No.
But the good thing about COVID is that it really did get people into quilting.
It did.
People that didn't have,
Yep. That's the thing that I kind of go, I wouldn't wish COVID on anyone. And I wouldn't, you wouldn't want to see that level of tragedy and the impact, like the economic impact that we're living through now and all of those things. So with that big giant caveat to this next statement, it was so good for us in terms of getting people online. So that barrier that we had for people that were like, I don't want to learn how to do online classes and I don't want to do communities online and I don't want to listen to podcasts. And COVID accelerated that because they were like, there's nothing else to do. And then the sewing, creative, handcrafts, hobbies, it just took off. And so it was, I like to look at the glass half full. And so it was a really good experience for us. And I think people appreciate it a little bit more when we go, oh, we get a delay in shipping. They now understand what it's like to live with a delay in shipping. So
that is true.
Yeah, so it was really good. But again, I'm sure there would have been nicer ways to get that leap of technology.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So just one last question. If you're, two, actually, I lie. Leslie? No Z. Leslie.
Ooh, good catch there.
I try. My accent just butchers everything.
You're fine.
Your 3 Ps. What were your 3 Ps?
Oh, so mine have changed probably because I don't really eat the things I used to do. Anymore. So I don't do pasta anymore. I would still say popcorn, Prosecco, and
you went to Peeps, didn't you?
No.
Oh, what was the other P that you did? Because you did switch it out to something else.
Mm-hmm. I had pizza, pasta, and Prosecco. But I don't really eat pizza anymore either. I haven't had pizza in months. I need to think about that. I have not updated my Ps. Prosecco is still a thing.
It is still a thing for her.
And
so is popcorn.
For sure. Those are 2 for sure go-tos.
And we ate every Peep and every flavor of Peep.
Okay, we'll go with Peeps.
But you don't have to. But I was going to say, what, I mean, really out of the other P things because you don't eat pickled products. You don't eat pork. I mean.
Like I was laying in bed at 2 a.m. thinking about peas. Peas are hard letter.
I could say peanut butter probably.
Oh, yeah, peanut butter would be good because you eat peanut butter.
I do eat peanut butter. So I'll say we'll go with peanut butter.
Wow, yeah.
Oh, we just updated my 3 Ps.
So is it going to be crunchy or creamy?
Creamy. Duh. No, I don't want crunches in my.
See, I love them both.
Not me. I don't want that in my peanut butter. I want smooth, creamy peanut butter.
So you can just lick it off the spoon. Do you do that?
For sure, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do you do that, Ange?
I don't do peanut butter. We do Nutella. So we don't
have
like
Nutella's good.
Peanut butter like you guys kind of have that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Nutella.
And you do Vegemite.
We do Vegemite, and there's no way you're licking that off a spoon.
There's no way. You know what I always laugh at? This is what always cracks me up is when I come into Australia and people that are there the first time and they're eating breakfast and they get the Vegemite and they take it and they put we do peanut butter and it's like, oh, hell no, people. That's not how you do this. You put a thin layer of butter, a thicker layer of butter, and then you take a micro piece of Vegemite and you smear that into butter and put it on there. You're just trying to get that yeasty flavor. You're not trying to whap your mouth.
No, you just hover the knife over the toast. Yeah. There's no, and the perfect way is fresh bread, lightly toasted while it's still hot, butter it so the butter melts, and then just
lots of butter.
Smear of Vegemite. Hugh Jackman released a video a number of years ago, I'm pretty sure it was Hugh Jackman, on how to do, how to eat Vegemite. Because so many people would be like, Hugh, Vegemite, what's the... But yeah, you don't.
Yeah. you have to know the proper way to eat it, but you can that's how you can always tell when someone else comes in. It's kind of like, yep, they don't know what they're going to put in their mouth now.
Yeah, and it cracks us up like a bunch of 12-year-olds. We all get the giggles. We're like, watch this. Yeah. But yeah.
I know. It's like, all right, here. And
I should have said protein bars.
You could switch it to that.
That's kind of where it is these days is my.
Yeah.
I applaud you on your choices because there's no way I couldn't.
Protein bars?
No.
Yeah. That's where I am in life right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll be in the ground 10 years before you.
Maybe not. You never know.
In a double wide coffin. Would you like yours with extra? Yes, please.
please. And while you put some sprinkles, everything. But I don't like sprinkles, but I do like malted milk.
Oh, I do that. Did you have Milo? Did you have Milo when you were in Australia?
Is that the chocolate? That's the flavor that goes into the milk.
Yeah. It's like a malted.
You know, I did like that a lot. And actually what I would do with it is I would take a spoon and I would lick a spoon and I would put it into there and then I'd lick it off the spoon because, that's what all the Aussies do.
I sent some to Sam Hunter because we were having this conversation on Bake Club and I was like, oh, I'm going to send you some stuff from Australia so you can try it. Yep. And I sent her the Milo and I listed about 20 different ways to use the Milo, and I forgot that you can actually just put it in milk. I was like, you sprinkle it over vanilla ice cream, you sprinkle it over your cornflakes, you can cook with it, you can like all of this, and forgot totally that it was actually invented to go in milk. I was like.
And you can even put it into chocolate chip cookie dough.
Yes. That was how we got onto it, because we were making a malted cookie and I was like, no, use Milo. So, but it is, I don't think it's anywhere else in the world.
Mm-mm.
But it's a Nestle product.
And then your
so it might
Tim
be
Tams.
Yeah, Tim Tams.
Tim Tams. Because these are all the different things that were put in my basket, you know, when I was there that group of all you folks put together for me. That was kind of cool. And then, of course, the thing that I have to laugh the most about is the pouch of for my change. And you know what the pouch was made of? The kangaroo boy.
Oh, Lord.
Part of him. His pouch.
Spare change pouch. Yeah,
that's right. His spare change pouch. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, because we do like a good coin in Australia. Because you guys have notes for lower denominations, and we have coins.
Yes,
but yes. So before we go, because I am conscious of the time, because you guys will be turning into pumpkins soon at nighttime. You have a January retreat coming up.
Yes.
So people can head to your website and book it, and we'll have a link in the show notes if I get my act together.
We will probably be, we don't have any information yet on it. We are still finalizing some details, but we'll talk about it on the podcast when we get that ready. And we'll also have that on both of our Instagrams. So, and it'll be on our Shopify, like in our shop, we'll have a way to sign up.
And we'll actually be hosting this at the Dones
Retreat Center,
at their retreat center at Missouri Star Retreat Center. They reached out, said, "Hey, you guys want to do this?" And we're like, we could probably try. So we're going to come together, and we're just now looking at all the details of what they offer for us to do this. And we're pretty excited because, you know, it's going to be January is a good time for us to get on the road.
And it's closing.
It'll be like the week of.
It's full circle for
January
you guys.
27th.
It's cold. Yeah, that time it is cold for us.
No, but it'll be like full circle. You met at a retreat. The podcast came out of a retreat. And now you're hosting a retreat. I would like you both
That's just the way it should be.
You should buy each other commemorative pearl product just to seal the deal.
Oh. Maybe so.
Something may be happening.
I like how
Get
you
on
think.
to Walmart. See if they deliver pearls.
I don't know if they carry the kind that I would wear.
She's a little picky. She's a little picky.
Fresh water?
With jewelry. Sister. I am the designer.
Yes.
Gal. Oh yeah. It is a very bad thing. It's
It's okay.
If you've got it, flaunt it. Yeah.
Everybody's got their kink.
That's right. Everybody's got their kink, and that one is mine.
And Tiffany is yours? Okay.
I go on things of stuff that I like, and
jewelry's your thing.
Jewelry has always been my thing. So. And I'm very fortunate that I have a husband that's very generous with jewelry. We used to always laugh, and I'd say, "Oh, he's, he just needs to do something bad so I can get some really cool jewelry." And, now he's not doing anything bad, and that's not upsetting me. I might have to start throwing little fits or something to make it seem that he's upset me because he hasn't in a really long time.
No, so, you should get a reward for his good behavior, honey.
It's been better.
I like the way you think.
It's been
that's really good.
30 days without an incident. That is rings.
30 days without an incident.
Earrings.
That'll speak to him.
That would be because
he's in the industry.
Because we call him the Who.
Yeah,
he has a Who. When his bad behavior, he had a Who.
Woo, and he can have some bad ones.
He can have them.
Lance had a Who.
Oh,
do you know? This reflection. My parents met in a mining town, but outside the mine's entrance, there used to be a big, there probably still is, big billboard with flippy numbers that said number of days since last incident. You need to get one in the house, number of days since last incident, and then, honey, you've gone 30 days. It's time to celebrate.
And And,
time to celebrate. Buy me a ring.
He would really know this stuff because he is in oil and gas, so that's the stuff that they have at the refinery there. So that would be something that he'd be like, yeah, makes sense to me there.
And ironically, oil and gas is the stuff that makes diamonds. So
that's right. It's true. Mm-hmm.
It's a write-off. See how my tax...
It is. That's right. It's a write-off. Here we go. Your accountant is really creative.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm creative. My accountant is very much like, what the hell are you claiming that for? It's a write-off. It's like in that Schitt's Creek episode. It's a write-off. He's like, you have...
So next question to you, are you going to be at market this year?
No.
Are you coming in?
Likely not this year. But
next year?
Yeah, that's the I'd like to be in the States next year for some work stuff. So
for some 2025 stuff.
Yeah. It's just been I feel like it's been ages since I went to do something work related.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because then it's a write off.
Then it's a write off and it's creative. Yep.
Plus you guys have a retreat culture that's completely different to ours. It's more like ours is like in its infancy in some ways, whereas you guys seem to have a real retreat culture kind of. It's an event, and so I'd kind of like to go to QuiltCon and see what that's like, but it's on the list. But
good,
awesome,
good.
But if you could, so we'll finish up. So January retreat. Plus, if people want to peek into your behind the scenes, they can check out Quilt Folk. And you've been doing a little bit of work with Quilt Folk on some of their stuff too. Did you want to talk a little bit about that? Give us a teaser.
Yep. Issue 31. It's the Oklahoma issue, and we are going to be in that. They came and they did all of our photos, and we have the write-up, and they're working on that. It'll be, I think it comes out in June.
I think it's June or July.
June or July that it comes out. So it's their next one on it. And it's, they'll be sending out things because they've been sending out stuff on their on the 30th of just different things that are in the Quilt Folk magazine. So if it's something that you want to find out more about us, there's a lot of good information in there about us that maybe the world doesn't know yet.
And it's a really good quality magazine too. Like it's a nice,
it's fantastic.
Nice hand feel, as they say.
Yep. And there's no advertisements in it. So, it's a great magazine.
It's nothing but quilting 24/7.
That's right.
Okay. I think that's everything. I could talk to you guys for ages. Thank you for
it happens that way.
Hanging out.
It does work that way.
I know. Thank you for letting us listen into your friendship and feel like we get to know you guys a bit better. And thank you for being on Fussy Cutters. We're going to hit not record.
Well, thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for the invite.
Yeah.
It's my pleasure.
Thanks for listening to the Fussy Cutters podcast. Enjoyed listening? Why not subscribe so you'll never miss an episode? Did you know the quickest way to the heart of any podcaster is to leave a review or recommend the podcast to a friend? It's true. It is. Until next week, get out there and fondle that fabric.